Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Let me say shout out to everybody who has been part of the Faith Fight Finish GoFundMe that we are raising money for Dak Prescott's charity. Right now, we started this on Monday. Right now, as of Friday, we're over $1,800. So shout out to all of you guys. We'll be presenting a check next weekend to Dak directly for his charity. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys who have been part of this. Hopefully it'll be something really, really cool. And everybody who has donated, we're actually making a plaque for Dak and with my X-Carve. Everybody's name is going to be carved into the back of this thing. So I look forward to doing all this. This is going to be fun. So some thoughts. We know that the Dallas Cowboys look for value. Let me say, you know what? Let's just say cheap players. Let's just call it what it is. The Dallas Cowboys look at the scratch and dent pile, buying appliances, okay? They're going to buy a used car on the rebound, somebody who's desperate to sell and that they're looking for, getting over on them. They're going to offer, lowball it and try to make sure they get it. That's what the Cowboys do. And so we've heard about T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton, that the Cowboys are interested in him. We go from Amari Cooper with the $22 million contract to probably a T.Y. Hilton to, $2-3 million type contract because, of course, this is a scratch and dent pile. And the question is, what could we expect from T.Y. Hilton? And I have some numbers because I'm a numbers kind of guy. I'm a numbers kind of guy because I like to try and use what's happened in the past to try and make projections of the future. And, T.Y. Hilton over the last couple of years has not been, doing that well. Let's call spade a spade. After having some great years in Indianapolis, the last time he was over 1,000 yards was 2018, and he was averaging 16.7 yards per reception. In fact, let me pull the numbers up here. So as you look at at these numbers right now, you see he went from 16.7, 1,270 yards, and then down to 11.1, 13.6, 14.4. Now, couple of things that will jump out here with this is injuries, because he did miss some games and stuff. In 2019, he missed 6 games. He missed 1 in 2020, and he missed 7 games this past year. So some of his numbers per yards, of course, will go down. Also, too, you've had 3 different quarterbacks each of those seasons. So that also, too, will change how you're doing. I mean, clearly, with Andrew Luck, he had his best years in there. There was a great connection between the two. So here's the question. We always hear that Dak Prescott, he's dink and dunk Dak, Dak trash cut. Dak sucks. Dak can't do it and things. But I'm going to tell you that I believe that if the Cowboys sign T.Y. Hilton, he'll average over 17.3 yards per completion. And I know what you're saying is, you know what, Mark, did you are you drinking alcohol instead of coffee this morning? And I'm not. When I come up with these things, I always have a reason behind it why I believe that it'll happen. If we look up here at T.Y. Hilton, his best yardage per reception was his rookie year at 2012, where he only had 50 receptions, but he averaged 17.2 yards per completion, which is amazing. That's an incredible number. And so it's my premise that he would average more than that with Dak Prescott. How could that be? How could you literally come up with that as a conclusion with Dak Prescott? Because Dak, of course, as a lot of you say, Dak sucks. Well, here's an interesting thing. If we go through and just follow some numbers, okay? Here's my case being made that he will average more than 17.2 yards per completion. Let's take a look at some other players that have gone from other teams to the Cowboys with Dak Prescott and see what's happened. If we actually take a look up here with Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb, his rookie year, and typically, for whatever reason, rookie years seem to be the biggest year, the monster years. Randall Cobb, with the bad man, Aaron Rodgers, averaged 15 yards per completion, which, of course, you say, yeah, of course, that's with, the bad man, the greatest quarterback that's lived in some of your minds. And then it dropped off to 11-9, but then he got back up 14, 14-1, 10-5, 10-2, 9-9. And then, he after 2014 of 14-1, you could see that his numbers had been on the decline. 10.5, 10.2, 9.9, 10.1. And so you started looking at this and say, well, we probably got the peak of Randall Cobb, right? I mean, you're looking at 3 years of being down from the peak. But here's an interesting thing that happened. He gets signed by the Cowboys on the cheap, right? After having 10.1, an amazing thing actually happened. He ended up increasing his yards per reception to 15.1, 5 yards more than what he had been doing the last 4 years. And in fact, a tenth of a yard more than he ever did in his career. And that was going from Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football, the bad man, the 4-time MVP, to dink and dunk Dak. Now, here's what's also amazing, too. You could say, well, okay, sure, that just kind of happened. But here's the thing. He went to Deshaun Watson and ended up having to be kind of the number one receiver because they got rid of Hopkins, and his numbers dropped to 11-6. He goes back to Aaron Rodgers. He bumps it up from Houston to 13-4, but still almost 2 yards less than he did with Dak Prescott. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? But that's not the exception. That seems to be the rule, because we can also go to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, again, whatever it is, something about the rookie season with wide receivers, that's crazy because, as a rookie with Derek Carr throwing to him, he had 14.9, which was great. I mean, coming out the box, you said, man, we struck gold. And then 13-9, 14-2, 13-4 with the Raiders. But with the Raiders, that last season that he was there, he only had 22 catches and 280 yards in 6 games. He clearly was not doing great. 12.7. That was the worst of his career at that point. He immediately goes to Dallas, and in the same year, not having worked with Dak Prescott, bumps up a yard from what he was doing on that year to 13.7. In fact, the following year, he has the highest yards per completion of his career at 15.1. Wait a minute. Dink and dunk Dak? So now we've got Randall Cobb and Amari Cooper both having their highest yards per completion with Dak Prescott. And we're talking about guys that have worked with Derek Carr. We're talking about guys, Deshaun Watson. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Let's keep on going here. Let's keep on going here. Here's another one where we can look at another receiver who had fallen off and came to Dallas. Allen Hearns. Allen Hearns is the only one who didn't have a career high with Dak, but had the second highest of his career. Because you could look at him and say his second year with Jacksonville was a monster year, 16.1. But he dropped off in his last year in Jacksonville to 12.4, but bumped back up to 14.8 as, kind of like down the chart receiver. He wasn't like a number one or anything like that. He was way down the line. And then when he went back to Miami, you see it dropped off again. It's kind of crazy. I hear what you're saying because I know you're going to say it's bullshit. Still, Dak sucks. Well, here's where we can go through, and this one is one that may definitely kind of change your thinking a little bit. Because let's take Dez Bryant, who majority of his career was having the ball thrown to him by Tony Romo. And Dez had some monster years. You know, he wasn't one of the ones that had one of his career highest numbers as a rookie. It was actually, down the road some. But we can look at Dez Bryant here, 12.52 as a rookie with Tony Romo, 14.7, 15 in 2012, 13.3 2013. And then you look at 15, that 2014 season, that catch-no-catch season that, should have been the year. But then Dez tailed off the next year to 12.9. But lo and behold, here we have Dez Bryant with Dak Prescott, his highest yards per completion in his career, 15.9, almost a full yard more than ever with Tony Romo. With Dak. You see the trend here? You see the trend, right? So receivers that have dropped off, they start playing with Dak, the numbers go up. And this may be the thinking for the Cowboys right now. And why you look at, say, a T.Y. Hilton or a James Washington. If you look at the numbers and say, okay, what's the trend line? Guys all of a sudden come back through, and it seems like their careers are rejuvenated working with Dak. And so as we look at T.Y. Hilton here, and you see that 17.2 was the pinnacle, you probably got to figure that he should be able to do at least a 14.4, having some consistency with offense and having other playmakers like CD there if he is signed. In fact, I didn't look at James Washington, but let me look at James Washington, because that may be another case where all of a sudden we see his numbers go up a lot because of being part of the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott. We look at him and we see his career year of 16.7. We could be seeing him in the 17-yard per completion range with the Dallas Cowboys liking to throw the football, and if it follows the trends that we've seen in the past. And this is kind of crazy because, to me, this is one of those ones where you can compare Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, Deshaun Watson. All of them have thrown balls to different receivers that Dak Prescott has, but yet somehow Dak Prescott with these same receivers ends up with more yards per completion. Yet somehow we still say Dak sucks. You tell me, am I crazy to think that James Washington and T.Y. Hilton could both average over 17 yards per completion with Dak Prescott? The numbers bear it out. I don't know how else you could look at it other than that. So that's what I got for you right now. I've got to actually go out and get some more wood because you can never have enough wood, and the shop definitely needs some. I'm going to finish this off with, of course, my buddy, Philly 500, because, I've actually missed my son and some of the times we spent together. And times like this, you think about the family.
Philly. And that's why we're the superior team of the division. That's why we're the superior team of the division. I just said this before halftime.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Listen to him. Oh, Philly. Oh, here it comes. Oh, poor Philly. Philly. Little Philly. Oh, here he goes. Stupid throw. Oh. Little Philly.
What a bad throw. Stupid throw.
Oh.
Are you recording this?
Oh, God. Hey, did the screen freeze?
What the hell was that? That's a horrible throw.
Oh,
Did the screen freeze?
Oh, my God.
Stupid.